You are now tuned in to the sights and sounds of Planet Leo. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Leo from Planet Leo, and today we're gonna be talking Shenmue, or Shenmue, as many of you already call it. I want to talk about Shenmue because it was in the news a couple days ago that Sega was talking about wanting to release a remastered version of Shenmue 1 and 2. However, they're saying that the technical abilities to perform that are a lot more challenging than what most people think they are, and they would just like to make sure it gets done the right way. Most of it probably has to do with the licensing within their video games, and such as, for example, they have licensing of other Sega products, which that part's probably not too much of a challenge, but they also have like a Coca-Cola brand in their Japanese version of the game, and they also have a couple of other product placements here and there, and so I would like to just move into the game here and talk a little bit about how it changed my gaming perspective. Um, Shenmue is widely regarded as a game that was a failure for the Sega Dreamcast console. Sega Dreamcast came out in the year 1999. I believe this game, the first one came out, I want to say 2001, or late in 2000, and I just want to say that before this game came out, yes, I was already a gamer. Yes, I liked playing video games, but this game was a complete game changer for me. Why was it a game changer? Because it incorporated a lot of elements into the world of gaming that just had not been done before. It mixed some of the storytelling along with some of the graphical prowess of the console at the time. This, believe it or not, we're looking at some gameplay footage here, and this was running on a Sega Dreamcast, which was from 1999, and this was the best graphics back then that you would find. I'm not even sure if I don't think PC was too much more advanced than what you're seeing here for its time. Of course, PC's always been prettier in terms of graphics than consoles. However, this wasn't too much far ahead. The PlayStation 2 was released by the time this came out, and considering that this was on a slightly older Sega Dreamcast console, the graphics for this video game outshined most of the games that were available already on PS2 and Xbox at the time. Um, so it was a great feat in terms of technical aspects for a game such as this one. It mixed in not only the prettiness, the beautifulness of the graphics for its time, but it also incorporated a lot of storytelling. The storytelling, in my opinion, is what drove this game and gaming in general over the top and into the next level. Before I played this game, yes, there were other games I had played that had some storytelling in them that was very compelling. I'm looking at Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation. That's one of the first. However, this brought a much more emotional heaviness and tone to it, where this young protagonist Ryu has his father killed, and you're gonna be seeing that in just a couple moments here, as we're looking at the Shenmue gameplay from the actual game right here, and so we see a lot of that happen in the game, where there's a lot of emotional aspects to it. There's a lot of cinematic cut scenes to it. So it ended up with a cliffhanger. We were taken from Shenmue 1, where he comes out of his little town and he goes chasing after Lan Di, which is the character you're seeing on screen right now. Lan Di is the one that killed his father, and he's pretty much out for revenge and to recover the I believe it's some sort of an amulet or a token of some sort that belonged to the family. And I'm not gonna give away any spoilers. I'm so tempted to talk more about what happens, but or how important that amulet is and why. So here we're seeing a fight between the father and Landi, and the father obviously is well versed in martial arts, and Landi as well. Although one is karate and the other one is, I believe it's kung fu, that he's versed in. And so you have this young character Ryu, which obviously has a lot of Western influence in the way that he carries himself and that he dresses and all that, but it's a good mixture with his cultural part as well. So he's kind of like the voice of the younger generation, and it goes along with what Sega Dreamcast was trying to accomplish in its time. It was this is almost a parallel to something that was well beyond its years. It came out almost too early, because Sega Dreamcast was already advancing in the world of online gaming. It was one of the very first to accomplish that in a very streamlined manner. And with many of their games, the Sega Dreamcast came with a modem included into it. I believe it was a 56K modem, which was top of the line back in those days, and so much so that this console, this little console that had so many features but was slightly underpowered, uh, just a year later, because the PlayStation released a so much more powerful console with so many more games that the the Dreamcast pretty much landed dead in the water once it was released. And unfortunately, a lot of people did not have the opportunity to play this wonderful game. And it changed my gaming life because it brought the storytelling to the world of gaming in such a compelling way for its time. Obviously, maybe by today's standards, I would say Naughty Dog is probably the best storyteller out there. Naughty Dog, as many of you know, is the creator of the Uncharted series and also The Last of Us. Other series that I do think borrow heavily from what Yu Suzuki, the creator of this game, did with this game. This game kind of laid the foundation for a lot of gameplay mechanics that we see in a lot of modern games nowadays. From games like Grand Theft Auto to the Uncharted series to The Last of Us to a lot of the RPG elements and a lot of the other games as well, where you don't have so much of a system based on you accumulating certain number of points, a certain number of gems or whatever that you have to collect, but this is more of like things that you experience that he just happens to learn. It's a different kind of learning system with this game. As far as the gameplay goes, it's not like you can reach into a bag and suddenly pull out a certain move or whatever. Yes, there are scrolls that he has, and he has to practice and learn them through gameplay. And that's one of the great and wonderful things of this game that I love, is that it pioneered in so many ways. It did them all good. It didn't do them well. I mean, it didn't do them great. It just did them good. And I think that's one of the downfalls from people that go back to play this game and then they feel disappointed by it. However, you have to consider this was revolutionary back then. Not too many games were doing this, and it also was not afraid to mix things up. Um, you could go ahead and just wander around your own house as this character does, Ryu, and he can open drawers and see things, and just things are just there for apparent no apparent reason. However, they all serve to kind of define what his character is. They serve to define what the location is, what he does, how important his family is, and these are all story elements that not too many games bothered with before it, or if they did have some of it, they didn't really elaborate it the way this game does in the detail that it does it in. Shenmue or Shenmue, you're gonna hear me say that a lot, but I personally say Shenmue because that's the first way I ever pronounced it. Um, the elements in this game that are gameplay related are like the QTEs, the quick time events. Most of the games nowadays have some form of a quick time, and before this game, I really had never seen anything like that used specifically in the way that it did. Although I have to say it was very, very tough to get those quick time events timed just right to where it was gonna make things uh, go along just smoothly. It took a lot of tries in some of those to kind of evade a certain punch or evade a certain obstacle. Also, it pioneered in the way that you collect things as you're going. You don't have to, but you kind of use your own income that you have in the game, your currency, to buy little trinkets, to play video games within the video games, to you get a job, you get to do your job and get paid for it. You get to gamble within the game. It's all very, very immersive. It's all things that I had not seen other games mix up to the depth that this game does, and that was a game changer for me in my gaming career, where I had never seen anything like that before it, and definitely lay the foundation down for a game such as Grand Theft Auto. That has a lot of similar traits to it, but obviously was much more widespread, and much more successful than Shenmue was. However, Shenmue, I still see a lot of the traits in gaming today, but more than anything, it left us. It's an unfinished game, and I'm really, really looking forward to Shenmue 3. I'm a little worried that Shenmue 3 is not gonna have the story completed. I've been waiting such a long time to finally get into the next chapter of this story, and I'm worried that we're gonna be left with Shenmue 3 and with another cliffhanger and to be continued. And I would really like to see just one long game that kind of completes everything. And I hope that it's successful. I hope that that Sega will do the remastered editions, do them right. Obviously, it seems to me like they've been dragging their feet. This should have been something they started working on since a year ago. However, it seems like they haven't even gotten started, despite the clamoring of the fans for a remastered edition. And so these are my thoughts. This is the way Shenmue changed my gaming career, my gaming life, and this was really the first game that I would play for hours upon hours upon hours straight. As a gamer, I've always been able to play only for maybe 1 hour at a time max, just because I get eye fatigue very easily, or it just kind of I get kind of sidetracked and lose interest after an hour. Hour used to be my tops, but with Shenmue, I would go 6 to 8 hours at one sitting, just playing it and wanting to play more, but not being able to because I had to go out and do some real world stuff as I was younger. But this is definitely one of those games that changed everything for me, and I hope that people, when they go back and see this game and play this game, they won't just see it for what they see now, but they'll see it for what it was at the time and how much of a game changer it was and how it laid the foundation for so many different types of games that we have today. And it was really one of the first games that allowed you to collect within a game, to play another video game within a game, to have a job within the game and have that responsibility of that job. It allowed you to gamble, it allowed you to walk the streets, and if you were helpful towards people, they might just give you something or teach you something. It wasn't just always something material that they would give you. Some people would teach you how to do certain martial arts moves. Then you had to practice them to master them and actually apply them in some underground fights, for example, or some real life fights till the death, you know. And so you're watching on screen right now like a pool game. There's so many different depths and levels to everything that happens within this game. It's like you're really that character, and there really hasn't been anything that that, that is that has all the different qualities that this game has in one single package. It seems to me like most games or most developers are afraid to kind of dip into all these different aspects and add them all into one lump sum of a game. Even still, even though they do borrow certain elements here or there, but we are still missing that, and that's why I'm so hyped that Yu Suzuki is working on Shenmue 3. And these are just some of my thoughts on Shenmue. I'd like to find out what you think about it. If you're a Shenmue fan, please comment on here. I don't run across enough Shenmue fans that want to just talk about the games and in a way talk about the good old days of Shenmue, because the good old days were not so good. They came to an end way too soon because Sega's Dreamcast was dead in the water, and it wasn't very successful. And to those people that have not played it, I want you to play it if you get a chance, or once you get a chance. And I'd like you to see it the way that we saw it back in the year 2000, 2001, 2002, whenever it may have been that you played Shenmue for the first time, and how hooked you may have gotten on the story, or the gameplay, or the mini games. It was kind of like a fighting game, simulator game, action game, and film all rolled into one. It's so many different elements to it. It's such a wonderful game. So far ahead of its time, also. I think it might have flown over some people's heads, and it just didn't seem to uh, click with everybody at the time. But I think we're ready now. I think we're at a moment where so many different types of games have borrowed elements from this one, where we might just be able to go ahead and pull it off. We might be able to go ahead and play this game with all those different elements, and people will be familiar enough to where they're gonna actually enjoy the game for all that it has and all that it's worth. With that, I'll leave you off. I'm Leo, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe to Planet Leo, your gaming, your channel for entertainment and technology. And I just want to know that I will be roaming the message boards here below. So feel free to drop a message, and I'll respond as soon as I can. Enjoy your games and love your families.